Welcome back, everybody, to WWTA News. Thank you for returning again for another episode where we're going to go through some news, see what's going on in the crypto space today. We got other things to talk about, but at this point in time, I just want to get into a few articles that we might have missed over the weekend and see if we can get caught up to date and see what's going on. And we should probably check things we should probably pay attention to this week and going ahead in the near future. So before we get started, if you have not already hit that like button, could I please get you to hit that like button? And if you have any family, friends, or loved ones who you think could use any of this information, please feel free to share the link so they too can also see this. Now, to jump right into our articles today. All right, so the first article says, this week on crypto Twitter, another Elon Musk company to accept Dogecoin and Three Arrows founders might be AWOL. All right, so, Elon, I don't even know what to say about this anymore. Do we really need to pay attention? No, not really. Is it really even important? No, not really, but nonetheless, Dogecoin, right? And of course, Dogecoin isn't the only one. We know Shiba, right, besides getting a lot of acceptance elsewhere. So it's just a little bit more that we can see from here that the adoption is happening. Whether you see movement in the market or not, it does not matter. The adoption is there. So at any moment when things change, you want to be in that right place. All right, so to get to some of this article, it says, so the crypto bailouts have begun, with billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried leading the vanguard. His exchange, FTX, extended a $250 million line of credit to battered crypto lender BlockFi last month. The following day, Alameda Research, another SBF company, gave Voyager Digital a $500 million line of credit. 2 weeks later, FTX reached a deal to acquire BlockFi outright. Now, Alameda already owed Voyager $377 million, so this was a borrower bailing out its lender. This is something interesting. So here, clearly, we're seeing, it looks like big business buying out little business. We are in a time here in the United States as well as abroad in other nations. We're at a time of economic distress, financial distress. We're looking at all this happening across this whole plane of existence. When we think about the inflation, when we think about the low production of food, we think about the storms tearing everything up. We're seeing catastrophic events that are actually breaking down economies and nations, okay? So here, when we look at these bailouts, what we're seeing is the bigger companies doing what has to be done. They're having to bring all these smaller blockchains up under them. And it makes perfect sense. I think that, this will help us see the bigger picture that this space isn't going anywhere. It's just going to be transforming as we move forward. To continue, it says, Binance CEO Changpeng CZ Zhao criticized the deal in an interview for Decrypt's GM podcast. CZ also said he's looking to do a few bailouts of his own. Some of them are actually good deals, so I think you will see that we will be investing, bailing out, saving multiple projects. And there it is, just so you can get a better understanding. That's all that's happening. These blockchain projects that didn't have enough money to continue to grow, these bigger ones are going to be coming in and swallowing them up. Does that mean we're going to lose the projects? Nope. The teams are still actively going to be working and developing these things. And so it's just really, what do you say? It's almost like it's the system's being monopolized. You know what I'm saying? And we could speculate more on that. When you look at the banking industry and you look at the big kahunas out there, and then you look at smaller banks and you can see that the difference of how business works. So when we look at this is really no different. It has to happen. I don't think it's a great thing, but it has to happen because this is how we're going to see adoption on a world scale. This age will see the mass adoption of this new system. And so things like this have to happen. Okay. All right. So Tron's Justin Sun also made clear that he stands at the ready as well. Everybody wants to get into the buy up space, right? And so, and just as a reminder, if you're looking at the markets and you're saying, oh my God, the markets are terrible. Oh my God, I need to get out. Well, you see, as terrible as the markets are, look at these big fish swallowing up the small fish and taking the market. Just think about that. Why would they be doing that if it's so terrible and you should be getting out? Why? Just think about that. Just think about what the big boys are doing and what you're doing. If you're scared and you're ready to get out, this isn't financial advice. I don't do those things. But if you're scared and you're ready to get out, then you got to get out. I totally get it. But when we go over articles like this and you see these main events, it's like, yo, these big boys ain't playing around. What they're telling you is they're swallowing up these small blockchain projects because they want to see these things through and continue to grow. There's money to be made on all this stuff. You're going to need a lot of these different technologies. So, amazing. All right, we got an article here. Just to continue, it says, will release of 3 billion Bitcoin from Mt. Gox caused a market bottom in August. That's interesting. Will it? I don't know. But will it really? I don't know. So it says 137,000 Bitcoin worth roughly 2.8 billion will soon be released into the market as funds lost to the Mt. Gox hack of 2011 and subsequent loss of 850,000 BTC worth around 17.8 billion at today's price in 2014. Mt. Gox reported that it had found 200,000 Bitcoin, but those coins have been locked in litigation until now. It's funny how mysteriously Bitcoin's being found. Isn't that mysterious? And it's not like small amounts. No, it's just funny that mysteriously all this Bitcoin's being found. And then it's being brought back into the market. Mysteriously, right? So for all you corporate investors or corporate users of the technology, there's a lot of Bitcoin coming on the market, and you will have your turn at collecting this Bitcoin at a fairly reasonable price because you got to remember the market fell from that 60 horribly down. And so getting it at 20, hey man, it ain't the end of the world. You know, it came from 60. You're like, yeah, I'll go ahead and get it at 20. It's going back to 60. I'm going to make tons of money. So you just got to wonder to yourself, what could really be going on? I'm not sure, but something just don't look right. Something just don't look right. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's continue. In November 2021, Mt. Gox released a formal rehabilitation plan to return lost funds to investors who lost access to their crypto some 7 years ago. Then on July 6, 2022, Mt. Gox and rehabilitation trustee Nobuaki Kobayashi sent an email to creditors giving them the option to receive USD, BTC, or BCH. The news brings us closer than ever to funds finally being released to creditors. Big money investments was happening, and so, hey man, but it just mysteriously found its way back, right? Do you believe that? Got to throw some questions out there on that's some real questionable stuff right there. Mysteriously, like 200,000 Bitcoin? Really? Just what? Yeah, I don't know. If you guys got any comments to that, if you got anything to share that can make that sound halfway decent, other than the fact that it sounds sussed in a mug, like I don't know about all that, post that in the comments box. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you enjoyed the news that we reviewed. And again, post anything you need to post in the comment sections, even stuff you want to talk about. We can get some information out there. We can talk about these things. So I'll catch you all in the next episode. Thank you.